Hello and welcome to another episode of Wannabe Entrepreneur. It's Sunday and it's the 105th episode of this podcast, and I'm super excited to speak with you today. And I don't have anything in particular to speak about, or I guess I don't have like a specific topic. I just want to speak about multiple topics and multiple thoughts that came to my head in these past days. First of all, I want to ask you, what did you think of yesterday's episode? It's a different format. I recorded myself every day, the full day, and yeah, I don't know. It's these kind of things work very well with video, right? You have the vlog or the vlog, and I call this format the plog, the plog, which is the podcast log. And yeah, I don't know. I liked it to listen to it. In the beginning, I didn't like it. I was not very happy with the result. But then when I added the background music, I don't know. It kind of it seems that I created some kind of inspiring episode or something. I really liked it, so I hope you liked it too, and I hope that you found it original and creative. And yeah, so let's start with the first topic, which is change it. As I told you in the past episodes, I've been working in the app settings, and yeah, I'm releasing something that people already asked a lot, which is the possibility to basically edit or control how often you want to get your notifications and what time of the day you want to receive them. And that yeah, it's I thought it was done, but now I had thought about it, that actually people from all over the world use this feature. So if they define, let's say, that they want to get their notifications at 9 p.m., I need to make sure I convert the 9 p.m. to UTC. UTC is kind of a standard timing. So I have to make sure that I convert every timing in every platform to the UTC, so that I can make sure that I'm sending in the exact time, the time that they actually defined it. Otherwise, let's say that I don't convert the time, and they say that I want to get the notifications at 9 p.m. and then I send them at my time in Germany, which might be, I don't know, 8 hours different from the US or something, and then the feature doesn't work. So I'm working on that. I was about to release, and then I thought, oh my god, I forgot to do this. So yeah, it's even these small features. There's a lot of nuances, especially when you're working with multiple countries, right? And I'm not even translating anything, so everything is in English. Like, I remember in Trivago, when we released one of our features in Europe, we had to translate it in so many features that I thought, okay, let's just use emojis for everything. It's much simpler. But yeah, with Change It, I'm having more downloads, much more actually, and I think there was a big difference actually from when I got the podcast, when I was featured in the Earth 911 episode, because from then on I started having more downloads. So now organically I'm having like 8 to 10 downloads per day, which is great. I think it's really nice. But I'm also having a lot of removals, uninstalls, so uninstalls. So yeah, it's I still have to work on that. And I don't know. I'm also thinking that I should maybe try to get some money, some investment, so that I can get a team, because it's just too much for me, and I think things would move much faster if I had people helping me out. So yeah, these are some of the thoughts that come to my head, but now I want to do this release. And yeah, also I have a new logo. João, I spoke about him many times, made a new logo for Change It, but the logo looks much more professional. But if you look at it directly, it doesn't look, or you cannot make the connection with climate change and with the planet directly, because there's no planet. So I've been also speaking with the Discord community and trying to figure out which logo works best, and I think that we still like the first logo better. So yeah, maybe we'll have to adjust it a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of what happening with changeit. Hopefully tomorrow I will be able to finish this app settings and release the new version. And besides that, I've been spending so much time on Twitter. Currently, I'm already in the 90 followers. So on Wednesday, when I released that episode about the strategy, I think it was Wednesday, I had 50 followers. So I was able to grow by 40 followers already, but it's so much work. Like, I've been like tweeting and commenting and DMing people left and right, and it's really a lot of work. I like it, and I'm also learning because I'm in the community. But I also feel that I'm getting more addicted to Twitter because I'm always thinking, opening and saying, did I get any notifications? Let me see the engagement of each tweet I do and so on. So yeah, that's been a little bit stressful to always having, I have to be addicted to it to make it work, and I don't like that feeling. And again, it just confirms that I really don't like marketing. I wish I could just build a product, but yeah, marketing is essential. It's so essential. Like, you cannot build a product. I mean, you can build a product, but no one will see it if you don't have proper marketing. And I really am looking forward to the day when I can hire someone to help me out with this, because it really I really don't like it. And it's not my beach. Do you know this saying? It's amazing. Sorry, this is kind of a side note, but in Portugal, you can actually say this, or in Portuguese you say, that's not my beach, which means that it's not something that you like, or you're not very good at it. And I had a friend from Brazil, and when he got interviewed at Trivago, someone asked him like, "Hey, do you know Python? Do you like Python?" And he says like, "Yeah, it's not my bitch." And people were like, "What? What is that? Is Python not your bitch?" And then he was like super embarrassed. "No, my beach. I mean, that's a saying in Portuguese. When you're coming for the first time and you're to speak English, even though you speak English, right? When you are still in native mode or non-native mode, you always translate from your own language to the language you're trying to speak, and sometimes you just translate things that make no sense in the other person language." And this is a funny side note. He ended up being hired, so it worked out okay. So that's super nice. And yeah, so hopefully, I'm also using Twitter a lot to get more interviews, to get, I didn't say this. I got followed by Masters of Scale, which is a podcast. Like, it's an amazing podcast about entrepreneurship, and it's Reid Hoffman is the host. He's the founder of LinkedIn. He has also a venture capitalist. He also invests in multiple companies. So you really should listen to the podcast. And they followed me on Twitter. I was like, woohoo, that's amazing. I cannot believe that I'm being followed by Masters of Scale. And also another amazing thing happened already that I forget to tell in this podcast. How is that possible? I think it was already on Thursday or something. I got approached by some random person. I don't know. I don't have any connection, to asking if they could feature in my podcast, if they could be a guest from my podcast. What? For the first time, someone is actually approaching me instead of me approaching them, and I really have no connection with them. I asked them how did they know about the podcast, and they said like a friend of them suggested, and they loved it. And I'll be interviewing this person. His name is Derek, and I'll be interviewing him. I think not next week, the other week. And I even got approached by his like one of the secretary or the employee. So I mean, it's really amazing. I felt so good to have someone, it feels that it's really growing, and that's super nice. So I've completely forgot about it. And that's basically what's going on with the podcast, mostly Twitter, and recording every day, obviously. And the final things that I want to talk about, two things. Today the episode is a little bit longer, but it's a Sunday, so hopefully you won't mind it. First thing is a movie that I saw yesterday. It's called The Founder, and it's about the person. What is his name? Ryan Kroc? Could it be? Oh man, I forget the name. But he's basically the person that is known to be the founder of McDonald's, but well, he's not actually the founder. So someone else created the concept of McDonald's, but he was the one that actually got the concept and developed the franchising and developed the brand. And I mean, it's a great movie. It's super well made. I really, I think that you should definitely watch it. And well, it was also recommended by João to me. And I've been wanting to watch it for so long, but now I finally did. And it's a really great movie. It tells the story of how McDonald's came to be. But one particular thing that I really, really loved was when the first people that actually came up with the concept of McDonald's, there were two brothers. I also don't know the names now. I'm terrible with names, but they came with this concept of fast food. The concept of fast food didn't exist before McDonald's, which is amazing. So before that, they only had this concept of drive-ins where people would drive, and then the employees would come to your car and ask you about what food you want, and like would take a long time. And they decided to come with this process of making things much faster. So they, instead of using dishes, they used the paper, and you could have your burger in 30 seconds, made in 30 seconds. This concept was absolutely madness. No one understood it, and they were like all amazed with this concept. And to get this done, they had to do a kitchen that would be so efficient, like super efficient, right? Because they needed to do the burger in 30 seconds. So they first of all reduced the menu to the things that they sold the most. So like basically burgers and soda. And they designed a custom-made kitchen. And to test the kitchen, they actually draw it on a tennis court with they actually draw it with chalk and with the real dimensions, but they didn't buy anything. They didn't invest any money until having sure that the concept would work. So that's amazing. They basically hired a bunch of people just to help out, to fake employees, and they iterate over it. They said, okay, you are in this station, the other one is making burgers, the other one is making fries, and blah blah. And they had everything timed, and they were able to iterate super fast in the concept of the kitchen. They were able to decide that maybe the fries shouldn't be there, or maybe there's a need for more space next to the burgers, even without spending money. And I found this absolutely brilliant, and it really validates this idea that I really follow, which is you cannot build a product in your head and build all the features and only release when after a year of development. It makes no sense. You really need to test it. And there's so many ways to test it. Like even these guys, they found a way to test their industrial kitchen without buying a single appliance. And I think it's really, really interesting. So I really recommend this movie, The Founder. And the link will be in the description, by the way. And the second thing, I started reading a book. And this book, it's amazing. It's actually a Portuguese book, so I don't know if it's translated. I have to check it out. It's from a doctor. He works in the Medics Without Borders. I think that's how you translate it. And he basically dedicated his life to work in the most, not terrible, but developed and poor countries, underdeveloped and poor countries. Like with war, and it's incredibly dangerous. And the things that he tells, it's absurd. Like I cannot even connect to that reality, even if I try. He speaks about countries where the soldiers that are supposed to defend them are the ones that actually terrify the population by stealing and raping and doing terrible things, and how children get shot just because a soldier is drunk. And I don't know, it's such a different reality that it really makes things in perspective. And sometimes I think that I've been spending so much time on Twitter and so much time worrying about my business, and then these people they live in a different world, and it makes me really sad that our world is like this. But to end in a happier note, because I don't want to end this episode in the sad note. I think it's a great book, and I think everyone should definitely read it. I'm still in the beginning, but I'm super excited to finish it. But that also gives me somehow motivation to work in Changeit, to work in a business that can actually change the world. and not to focus only on money, but to focus also in the big picture and focus on humanity. And I think that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. Like, it feels that you really have the possibility to change something in the world. And I don't know, I read this book and then I get an extra motivation to continue focusing on changing and helping somehow in what I can do. I mean, of course, I know that I won't be able to change the world by myself, but I want to contribute the maximum I can to do so. So it's a great book. I will also check if it's translated in English, but probably there are similar books written in English. So I would really recommend you to find something like this. It's really inspiring. Yeah, even though it's a bit terrible too, it's inspiring. It inspires me to try to leave the world a little bit better than how I found it in the first place. And yeah, this was the episode for today. I'm sorry if I just spoke too much. I hope I didn't bore you to death. But yeah, I felt like sharing a lot of these feelings. And yeah, if you already know, please help me share this episode and this podcast with your friends, with your network. And if you want to support it, the link will be in the description and you can buy me a coffee. And yeah, I wish you a happy Sunday and see you tomorrow.